Dear readers, today I want to teach you that in order to really convince others to read the books you love, it's important to give lots of reasons. You can find examples from the book that show why others should read it. As you reread, think about all the parts of the book, stopping to study the pictures, the characters, funny parts, and the important lessons the story teaches. Think, what do I love most about this book? Then mark parts that include lots of reasons why other readers should read the book too. Love, Miss Cortade. So if you remember from our last lesson, we looked at this chart called Recommend Books You Love. Number 1 says introduce the book and the main character. Number 2 says retell the big things that happen, but don't give away the ending. And then number 3 says pass along the lesson. And you all have practiced doing this, but today we learned that we want to add a couple more things. Well, we definitely want to give lots of reasons why we love the book. So we want to include that in our book recommendation. And we also want to find examples from the book that show why others should read it. So if you remember, my book recommendation from the last lesson did not include these things. I had just said, this book is called Upstairs Mouse, Downstairs Mole by Wang Yerbert Yi. Mouse and mole are neighbors. They live in a tree. Mouse lives upstairs and mole lives downstairs. But there's trouble in this story. Mouse keeps sweeping dirt into Mole's house. Mole is upset and tells Mouse, and they think and think of a way to fix the trouble. You'll have to read and find out what they do. This story isn't just about a dirty house. No way. It teaches a lesson about teamwork. It teaches you that friends work together. You should read it. Well, if you notice, I did include a couple of examples from the book. I talked about how Mouse keeps sweeping dirt into Mole's house, and Mole gets upset, and then they work it out. But I don't know if I gave lots of reasons why I love the book, and I think I need to include more examples. So I'm going to try this again. I am still going to introduce the book and the main character. I am still going to retell the big things that happen and pass along the lesson, but I also want to actually find examples from the book that show why others should read it. And I want to give more reasons of why I love the book. Okay. So I actually went ahead and I marked some of my favorite spots just with sticky notes in this book. So let's take a look at some of those spots that I marked. I really thought, like, why do I love this book so much? Well, here I have this first part, which I already mentioned in my book recommendation last time, about how Mouse is sweeping dirt into Mole's house, and Mole gets really, really angry. And I see this with friends all the time. You know, a friend will do something to make the other friend angry, and then they'll start being angry at each other and they'll stay angry at each other. But what I love so much about the characters in this story is that they actually talk it out and they actually come up with a solution. They don't stay angry at each other forever. And I marked another page here because their solution is that they could work as a team. First, they'll sweep Mouse's house upstairs, and then they'll both go down and sweep Mole's house. And together, they do the work much quicker than when they did it apart. And I just love that. I love the message that this teaches us about teamwork and about being friends and about talking our problems out. So I think I want to include this in my book recommendation. I also marked this page. Mole invites Mouse down to his house to have some food and tea. Well, he makes worms for dinner. And Mouse doesn't really want to eat worms. And also, his apartment is so dark and so damp that she bumps into things because she can't really see, and she shivers because it's so cold and damp down there. And she leaves and just feels sick. Well, then I marked another page. She has Mole up to her house for dinner, and he has some problems at her house. First, she serves cheese to him, and he's not used to eating cheese. And her apartment is so bright that it hurts his eyes, and he starts bumping into things because moles like it dark. Well, he kind of gets sick or doesn't feel well, so he leaves. And then you think, well, maybe they'll just stop being friends because they're just too different. But that's not what happens. This book shows how strong their friendship is. They don't want to stop being friends. Mole gifts Mouse some candles so that next time she comes to his house, she won't feel so cold and damp. And Mouse gives Mole some sunglasses. So next time he comes to her house, he'll be able to see and his eyes won't hurt. He won't bump into things. So I really hope you'll love this book as much as I do. As you can see, this book shows so many wonderful things about friendship and working together. Do you see how I did that? I added specific examples into my book recommendation that really makes somebody who I'm giving the recommendation to really excited to read my book. Because remember, what we're trying to do is persuade someone to read our books. We want them to love our books as much as we love them. All right, so I want you to practice that today, boys and girls. Remember, when you're recommending books that you love, you definitely want to introduce the book and the main character. You want to tell everything you can think of about the main character. Remember what they're doing, what they like, what they dislike. You definitely want to retell the big things that happen in the story, but don't give away the ending because we don't want to spoil the ending. We want to pass along the lesson that we learned, but we also want to find examples from the book that show why others should read it. And we definitely want to give lots of reasons why you love the book. All right, readers, go ahead and try to practice that. Off you go.